Everyone's talking about Sony, Canon, and Nikon, but Panasonic may have just unleashed the most overlooked powerhouse of 2025. While the camera community debates autofocus accuracy and pixel-peeping sharpness between giants, there's a different kind of beast waiting patiently on the sidelines, the Panasonic Lumix S1R II. It isn't riding the algorithm wave. It's not a camera wrapped in hype. And it's certainly not here to chase content trends. What it is, however, is a meticulously engineered machine built for creators who demand meaningful performance from every dollar they spend. Let's be clear, this isn't another surface-level review. If you're here for feel-good talking points or buzzword-laced promotions, you might want to look elsewhere. This is about digging into the guts of a camera that actually matters to working photographers and filmmakers, professionals who can't afford failure and don't care about social media virality. This is for the people who show up at 4 a.m. to chase perfect light or spend hours color grading commercial footage frame by frame. The original S1R was always somewhat of a silent warrior, fully capable of battling with the best that Sony and Canon had to offer, yet it rarely got the attention it deserved. Its impressive sensor and rugged design made it a sleeper hit among enthusiasts, but the mainstream spotlight always seemed to shine just a little to the side. It was like watching an Oscar-worthy performance get buried in the supporting actor category. Now, Panasonic returns with the Lumix S1R II, and this time, they're not asking for permission to stand out. This camera isn't designed for influencers chasing fleeting views. It's not for those who treat their shutter button like a machine gun. The S1R II is aimed at landscape photographers who know one well-composed frame is worth more than 1,000 burst mode guesses. It's for the commercial shooter who understands that image fidelity, color integrity, and post-production flexibility are non-negotiable. This camera doesn't try to be everything to everyone. Instead, it dares to be excellent in areas that actually impact professional results. Let's start with what powers it, a 44.3 megapixel full-frame sensor. That spec might not grab headlines like Sony's 61MP monster, but Panasonic didn't just slap in more pixels for the sake of it. Instead, they paired this sensor with their refined Venus engine processor, an update that brings both technical sharpness and artistic depth to every frame. It's not about megapixels. It's about how those megapixels are managed. What you get is not just more resolution, but more meaningful detail, especially in tones, gradients, and textures that actually make an image sing. And yes, finally, Phase Detect autofocus is here. For years, Panasonic's contrast detect system held them back in the eyes of the broader market. Now, with phase detection implemented and refined, autofocus feels not only responsive but trustworthy. It locks onto subjects with the kind of intuition that doesn't fall apart when someone turns their head or walks behind a tree. Human eye detection is fast, sure, but more importantly, it's consistent. Animal tracking doesn't freeze when the dog runs into shadow. It just works. And for those of us who've lost too many frames to missed focus, that matters more than any spec sheet claim. Then there's the stabilization, up to 8 stops of 5-axis in-body stabilization. Whether you're hand-holding at dusk or pushing the limits of shutter speed in tight lighting conditions, the S1R II gives you the flexibility to create without dragging a tripod to every shoot. And if you're shooting handheld video, this is the kind of IBIS that smooths without feeling robotic. It's natural, not overcorrected. Speaking of video, Panasonic's no longer playing second fiddle. Internal 10-bit ProRes 422 recording is now baked in. No need for external recorders. No upcharge for firmware unlocks. What you see is what you shoot. And what you shoot is nothing short of cinematic. The S1R II isn't a stills camera pretending to do video, it's a true hybrid. And that's the difference between marketing checkbox features and actual usability in a working filmmaker's toolkit. Build quality? Let's talk about that. Magnesium alloy body. Fully weather sealed. The kind of construction that doesn't flinch when it starts raining or snowing. This is the camera you throw in a backpack, not coddle in a custom case. Whether you're climbing a mountain or shooting an interior on location, it performs like a reliable teammate, not a delicate diva. You don't worry about it. You trust it. And that's something no number on a spreadsheet can convey. Now, comparisons are inevitable. So let's get into it. Yes, the Sony A7RV still holds the resolution crown. 61 megapixels. Incredible AI-powered autofocus. That's a technical marvel. But spend a week shooting with both the Sony and the Panasonic, and something becomes obvious. The Panasonic feels more deliberate. The grip is deeper, the buttons fall exactly where they should, and the menu structure feels like it was designed by someone who actually uses cameras, not just designs them. Canon's EOS R5 II brings blazing speed, impressive burst rates, and strong thermal management for 8K video. But Panasonic's edge is in long-format shooting. No overheating. No waiting for the body to cool down before continuing a take. The image comes out of the S1R II looking graded even before post. Canon gives you speed. Panasonic gives you elegance. Nikon's Z7 II is still a strong contender in this class. Great ergonomics, solid battery life, and growing lens support. But where Nikon shines in balance, Panasonic takes the edge in specialized excellence. It might not win in every category, but it wins in the ones that count for demanding pros. And yet, despite all this, the Lumix S1R II remains largely invisible in the mainstream camera conversation. Why? It's not because it's lacking. It's because the game is rigged in favor of those who shout the loudest. Sony, Canon, and Nikon have what Panasonic doesn't: cultural mindshare. They dominate headlines, reviews, YouTube thumbnails. Even when they release half-step upgrades, it feels like an event. Panasonic, despite arguably launching the best hybrid body in its class, remains whispered about in corners rather than shouted from rooftops. Part of that comes down to the L-mount ecosystem. Despite partnerships with Leica and Sigma, it still feels like a smaller universe. Native lenses exist, and many are superb, but variety is more limited compared to F or E-mount options. Third-party support is growing, but slower. And there's always that nagging voice asking, "Are you sure you want to invest in this?" Panasonic's marketing doesn't help. Their communication feels tailored for engineers rather than creators. Their announcements read like tech demos. They focus on numbers instead of narratives. In a world where storytelling is king, Panasonic feels like it's speaking a different language, one based on precision rather than passion. So, should you buy it? If you're a photographer who values color fidelity, dynamic range, and physical confidence in your gear, yes. If you're a filmmaker looking for a camera that doesn't melt after 20 minutes of 4K recording, absolutely. If you're tired of seeing the same brands recycle the same talking points, this is your moment to break free. But if you're already locked into a system with thousands in lenses and accessories, switching may not be practical. If you're shooting high-speed sports or wildlife where every millisecond counts, Sony or Canon might still be better choices. And if you want a featherweight, travel light setup, the S1R Mark II might feel a bit too robust. Still, what you're getting is something rare. A camera that doesn't try to be trendy. A camera that doesn't disguise its limitations as features. A camera that excels not in social metrics but in consistent professional performance. In an industry obsessed with hype cycles and spec chases, the Panasonic S1R Mark II is quietly excellent, and that, in 2025, feels downright revolutionary. Sometimes the best gear isn't the most talked about. It's the tool that disappears in your hands and lets the work speak for itself.